Hello and welcome to NDTV Profit. I am Mihika, Barve, and with me is Anushi, Vakharia, and you're watching Ask Profit, a show where we get all your stock-related queries solved with a technical and fundamental guess. But before we go on and solve your queries, let's just take a quick look at how markets are faring. And if you want to send any of your queries, there's a WhatsApp number right below your screens, and you can send in your queries there. Just a quick look at markets. Well, the Nifty 50 is up about 0.7% right now. And when we talk about the stocks that are leading the positive bias, it's Wipro and M&M, both up 2.5% in trade today. We also have some strength in stocks like LTI Mindtree and Tata Motors, which are both up 2% in trade today. In terms of the stocks that aren't doing so well on the benchmark, well, we do have some negative bias to stocks like HDFC Life and SBI Life, so it's the life insurance companies. When you look at the broader markets, they are clearly outperforming, and it's the Nifty Small Cap 250, which is the top performer of today's day of trade. It's up about 1.2% in trade right now. The stocks that are leading the charge is, we have something like an RHI Magnesia, which is up 11.7%, as well as stocks like Firstso and Zensar Tech, both about 6% in trade today. Some stocks that aren't doing so well on the small cap 250 index is Ratan Tata Index, under pressure, down about over 3%, almost 3.5%, as well as some negative movement in terms of Rainbow Children and Shyam Metallics, both down 1 to 2% in trade today. When you look at the sectoral indices and let's see who's performing the best right now, we do have Nifty IT, which is the top sectoral gainer today. Royalty and media follows, as you can see on your screen. But today's focus is Ola Electric, which has made its debut in the motorcycle segment with the launch of Roadster. Now this comes just days after its stellar listing on the exchanges, and my colleague Puneet joining us with more insights on the same. Puneet.
Well, thanks for that. So back of its strong Q1 results as well, which saw gross margins growing very steadily, up about 800 odd pips. We saw the launch of the electric vehicle bike segment, especially the Roadster. Now, there are three key models within this particular Roadster, and it starts from a low price of just 75,000 for the Roadster X, goes all the way up to rupees around 2.5 lakhs for something like a Roadster Pro. Now, this is key because they are competing not only with normal bikes such as the 100cc, but also giving competition to the premium bikes as well. Going forward specifically, the one thing to note is India is a big motorbike market. Roughly around 1.6 to 1.7 crore bikes get sold in just a single year. And if the biggest one is of course Hero MotoCorp, which has roughly 54 to 55 lakh bikes sold in 1 year. Now, if they can target the lowest segment of roughly 75,000 odd rupees per bike, they are also currently priced lower than the new Splendor as well. That could be a big market to capture for Ola Electric going forward as well. The EV penetration increasing will also be another thing, and that's led to HSBC being positive on the stock. They've initiated a buy with a target price of 140 rupees, and they see that EV penetration can go up to 30% from just 5% currently, and that will be across the scooter as well as bike segment. So of course the launches are one thing, but the profitability as well as the gross margin expansion is a key positive for Ola Electric, which is leading in the stock price today as well. Back to you.
Well, thank you for that, Puneet. Now, there's a lot of interest in this Ola Electric. We'll move on to our guest and introduce our today's guest for the show. Joining us today are G. Chokalingam, founder and MD of Economics, and Ajit Mishra, Senior Vice President of Religare Broking on the research side. So, first query for the day is from Sailesh Sharma. He is holding about 500 shares of Ola Electric, and the buying price is at the range of about 114. His query is, should he remain invested or exit? I'll come to you, Mr. Chokalingam, for this. Can you share your views on Ola Electric?
I'm sorry, I do not track Ola Electric since it's a very brand new stock. I haven't tracked it.
Okay. We'll just, we have two more queries. I'll just take it up and then go to our technical guest here. We have one from Satya Paraneshnath. He's holding 488 shares of Ola Electric, average price at 127 rupees, and he wants the outlook on the same. We also have Pritish Ranjan Hendalia, who's holding 928 shares of Ola Electric at an average price of 123.8 rupees, and he also wants the outlook. I'll come to you, Ajit. I know the stock's only listed for less than a week, but how does it look on the charts, and what are your views on the same?
Hi, good morning. So, post this muted start, now we have started seeing the stock is gaining traction. Today also we are seeing, circuit, 20% circuit in the stock. with noticeable surge in the buy. So I feel that if somebody is trading for this momentum, they should be very disciplined about maintaining stop losses. So since we have very limited data to comment upon based on the recent price action, but I feel that 120 is the area basically where one can maintain stop if somebody is just chasing this momentum and keep on trading their stop losses on rise. But otherwise, from the long-term perspective, we have shared our neutral rating in the IPO note, considering that the company's revenues have witnessed a sharp jump in the recent year, but still they need to see the profitability. So that is the major, catch, that if somebody is looking for the long-term investment.
Okay, so that's the view on Ola Electric from the technical side. But now we'll move on to the pharma space. This is a query from M.R. Kumar from Anandpur, Andhra Pradesh. He's holding about 50 shares of Emcure Pharma at an average price of about 1,298. Should he hold it or sell it? Mr. Chokalingam, I'll come to you to understand your view on the stock.
Yeah, he can hold on. Of course, valuation is slightly stretched, but at this juncture, pharma stocks have a more defensive advantage. So therefore, also the stock slightly corrected from recent weeks. So one can hold on to stock.
Okay. Coming to you, Mr. Ajit Mishra, what is your view on Emcure Pharma?
So, see, Emcure, after the listing, we have been seeing gradual drift, and the stock is trading closer to its recent lows. See, within the pharma space, we are seeing a mixed trend. Means some of these pharma counter, they are holding strong. So stock like Sun Pharma, Lipin. So I feel that in a market like this, wherein the index is trading at the record highs, if the view is short term, the position should be aligned to what the sector performers or the index performers are behaving. So as of now, I feel that if the view is short term, then you can exit from this position and switch to the top performers like Sun Pharma and Lipin. And if the view is long term, then you can definitely stay put.
Mishra, I'll take up the next query, and that's from Nilmar Chaudhary from Kolkata, and he's asking to share the outlook on Jupiter Wagons. Mr. Chokalingam, I'll come to you. Do you track the space, the company?
Yeah, certainly. It's a great company, no doubt, but I don't see much valuation comfort, particularly after seeing poor, increase in the railway capex. I think if for any further rise, one can book profit and shift to some large cap stocks.
Got it. Booking profits for, Jupiter Wagon. The next query is from Yogesh, and he's from Rajasthan. He's holding 50 shares of BDL, and he's buying at a price at 1,620 rupees, and he's asking whether he should add or he should sell. Ajit, I'll come to you. How does the stock look on the charts?
So in fact, mostly stocks from the defense basket are seeing a similar trend, that after a phenomenal surge, they have retraced roughly around 20-30% from the recent highs. And still we are seeing, the selling pressure continuing. I would not recommend to add to your loss-making position if it's a short-term trade. And at the same time, now 1150 should be your closing stop, because the way it moved up from 400 to 1700, it was almost vertical. So in case if it corrects and fails to hold 1150, then this correction may deepen further, and the stock may retrace to 900 also. So if the view is short term, definitely you should maintain stop. And in case of recovery, I feel that 1500, 1550 is going to be the area where it might face the resistance. So around that area, you can plan to reduce your position as well.
All right, that's a fair point. But now coming on to another stock in focus is BPCL. And Shashank from Mumbai wants to know the short to medium term view on BPCL. Mr. Chokalingam, I'll come to you first. What is your view on the stock? Do you track this company?
Yeah, but somehow I'm not extremely bullish on oil marketing companies. Because their margins are keep fluctuating, and also the marketing business gets impacted if oil price goes up. If they come down, also they don't get benefit. Still, considering the qualitative nature of this company, one can hold with a target price of around 360.
Okay, got it. A target price of 360. Ajit, I'll come to you. What are your views in the counter?
On the OMC space, largely most of the stocks they have done well. And in fact, after the recent uptick in the crude oil prices, also we have not seen any major damage to the prices. So that is definitely a comforting factor because the stock is still holding around its record highs. So I feel that if the view is short term, then you can maintain a stop at 315 for BPCL, and you can maintain your longs, and eventually 365 to 370 is the first area, and then around 380 is something that one can target.
Okay, so 380 is the one that we can target for BPCL. But now moving back to the defense space, Sangeeta is holding about 5 shares of BEML, and this is at an average price of about 4,600. She wants to understand the outlook on this counter. So, Mr. Chokalingam, again, defense and focus, BEML is the one over here. Can you share your outlook on this one?
Yeah, I saw the latest results and also the valuation. I'm not at all comfortable even at current price in BEML.
And Mr. Mishra, what about you? What do you think about the defense stack and BEML in particular? How does it look in charts?
So I completely agree with Mr. Chokalingam that the valuation part is definitely a critical concern. Plus the kind of move that we have had in most of these, defense-related stocks, they moved up almost 3 times, 4 times in the last 1 year. So they were extremely overbought, and now we are seeing a healthy correction. Earlier we were largely seeing a time-wise correction, but now we have started seeing price-wise correction also. That 90% is already down in this month so far. And in case if it fails to hold 3,500 mark, then this correction may deepen further towards 3,000, 2,800 levels. So around that area, I feel that it might take a breather because that would be roughly around 38 to 40% retracement of the entire move that we had in the stock in the recent past. So around 2,800, 2,750 zone is something that one can look to add if the view is long term.
Got it, Ajit. Thank you so much. So that's bearish outlook for BEML from both the fundamental and technical guests. But it's time for a short break, but do stay tuned as we address more queries on the other side.
Welcome back. You're watching Ask Profit at NDTV Profit, where you get all your stock-related queries answered on the numbers flashing down below the screen. Now, we are joined in by Ajit Mishra on technicals and G. Chokalingam on the fundamental side. The next query is on the short-term outlook on Kalyan Jewellers. I'll come to you, Mr. Mishra, over here. What is your outlook on Kalyan Jewellers?
So mostly, stocks from the jewelry space, they are buzzing, and Kalyan Jewellers is currently holding closer to its record high despite the volatility which we are seeing in the market. So that clearly shows that the outperformance within this space, and I feel that one can stay put. They can, in fact, look for fresh longs also around the current levels. Citing the volatility in the market, the stop loss should be at 550 for this position, and 625, 630 should be your position.
Yes, thank you, Ajay, for giving us that outlook. The next query we have is from Jaya Chandran, and he's holding 400 shares of Suzlon Energy at a buying price of 41 rupees, and he wants a long-term perspective. Mr. Chokalingam, I'll come to you first. Views on Suzlon Energy?
Suzlon Energy, I think, is a very good sell now. It has played out. The fundamentals are more than fully priced in. So it's a good sell in my view.
Got it, Mr. Chokalingam. And Ajit, how does the stock look on the charts?
So now it looks slightly overbought to us, considering the recent surge, especially in the last leg of the up move from 40 to 18. So if the view is short term, then definitely one should be very strict with the stop losses. 74 is the area basically where we have multiple supports. If it breaks, then definitely you should exit if the view is short term.
So 74 is the area that we are looking at but now I'll shift focus back to HPCL in the oil and gas space. Dayanand Shetty over here is holding about 1,600 shares, and this is at a buying price of about 280. Should he continue to add more in this position or sell? Mr. Chokalingam, first I'll come to you about this. What are your views on HPCL?
Same was what I mentioned about oil marketing companies. BPCL is true for HPCL. In fact, between these two, BPCL is far better than HPCL in terms of consistency of financial performance and stock performance. So I would instead of holding HPCL, if he likes to have it in similar business, then he can prefer BPCL. But otherwise, you can look at other PSU stocks like GNFC. It has corrected a lot, and recently it has come out with very good results. That, according to me, is one of the few PSU stocks extremely undervalued now.
All right, Mr. Mishra, and what about you? How does it look for HPCL over here? Would you continue to add on this position or sell?
So I would not add, but definitely I'll hold, because as we were discussing about BPCL also. The good part is that they're still holding around the record high, so that shows resilience in a market like this. And the recent correction is also very more of time wise. So there could be in the next leg of the up move which can help the stock to inch toward 420, 430. But around that area, it might get into the overbought zone. So fresh adding, since you have already bought it at very lower levels, 270, 280. So it's prudent that if you book profits around 420, 430 area.
Got it. Booking profits at a price target of 420, 428. The next query is from Rajesh Maheshwari. Now, Rajesh is holding 550 shares of IEX, which is Indian Energy Exchange, and he's bought it at a price at 225. And he wants a short to medium term outlook. Ajit, I'll come to you first. 225 is just much higher than what the stock is currently trading at. What are your views on the charts?
So he has waited for more than a year now, considering that the stock price was at this level in April 2022. So since we have started seeing a sign of reversal on both short-term and medium-term charts, there's a possibility the stock might inch toward 216, 220 zone in a month or two. So definitely you can stay put, but now at least this time around you should maintain stop losses if it's a short to medium term position. And I feel that 180 is the area basically on the closing basis should be your stop, and around 220 you should definitely relook whether the stock manages to hold this zone or not. Otherwise you can reduce your position.
Yes, thank you, Ajit. And Mr. Chokalingam, your outlook on IEX?
If it goes moves close to 200, one can definitely sell it, because it is no longer enjoying a monopoly status in power exchange business. NSE, BSE ventures have also got into this, and which is, I believe, highly negative because these two exchanges have got many other businesses. So therefore, they can easily, invest a lot of money and increase their market shares in the power exchange. So I believe medium to long term perspective is not a good stock to own. Therefore, if it moves close to 200, one can sell IEX.
Okay, so a negative outlook for the medium to short term outlook for IEX over here. But now we'll move to an interesting one over here, which is Aarti Industries. Now, the stock has been under pressure in this last one. It has fallen by about 14%. This is also because of the EBITDA guidance that they have given, wherein they're facing pressure from China. Ritu Raj wants to understand the future outlook on this stock. So, Mr. Chokalingam, I'll come to you first. What is your outlook on Aarti Industries, and what is this sectoral trends also that we are looking at from this company?
So part of good management, management has created a lot of wealth for its shareholders. But as you mentioned, unfortunately, Aarti Industries is going through a lot of pressure on the realizations. So in case it falls another 5-10%, then one can consider. Otherwise, it is better to wait for one more quarter to see how things are changing for its products.
Okay, so one more quarter for this one. And Mr. Mishra, what about you? What is your view on Aarti Industries?
So in this week so far, we have seen almost 19% kind of a cut. The stock is hovering around major averages. So I feel the downside seems capped in the current level. So if the view is medium term, then one can continue to look at 550 being the critical area. In case if it fails to hold, then this correction may deepen further. So that is around 7 to 8% down from the current levels. So if you are okay with that, then you can continue to stay put. And in case of rebound, if the view is short term, then use any recovery towards 650 to 670 area to reduce your position if it's a trading bet.
Oh, thank you, Ajit, for that outlook. The next stock we have in focus is Tata Steel. Now, it's up in today's day of trade, but the stock is down almost 12% in the past month, and that's on various factors. But Raja from Ravati is currently holding 300 Tata Steel shares at a buying price of 158 rupees, and he wants to know whether he should hold or sell his position. Mr. Chokalingam, I come first to you, and your outlook on Tata Steel?
I have a negative outlook on steel industry, which is reflected in terms of a severe fall in the realization. I don't think the industry environment is going to change dramatically in the short term. So instead of holding Tata Steel, it would be better to hold some growth stock like Dr. Reddy Lab. That would be better in this market condition. So I would suggest sell Tata Steel and buy Dr. Reddy.
Sell, a recommendation from the fundamental guest. But I want to ask Ajit, how does the stock look on the charts?
We have seen sharp decline from the record highs from roughly around 180 to 145 already. The stock has slipped below the major averages also. So definitely the tone has turned negative, but due to the oversold position, we might see some respite, some breather, and some recovery towards 150-52 levels. So around that area, you should definitely look to exit your longs because the bias has turned negative altogether for Tata Steel, at least for the short term. And in the interim, do maintain a stop at 144 also.
All right. Now moving on to Patel Engineering. Nikhil from Kerala is holding about 500 shares of this stock, and he wants to understand the fundamental outlook. So I want to come to you, Mr. Chokalingam, on this one. He has bought it at a buying price of about 51. Now, if we consider the Q1 results of this, the revenue did see about a little bit of a downtick, where the margins have net remain in the similar range of 15%. What is your outlook on this stock?
Yeah, still, I'm not that comfortable with the balance sheet of Patel Engineering. There are many stocks, very attractive in the marketplace. So I would suggest that, sell on Patel Engineering and buy something like, Indoco Remedies or, stocks like Geo Financial, which have more visibility of creating wealth in the medium to long term.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chokalingam, for giving us that view. And up next, the next stock that we have in focus is Varun Beverages. And Ramesh here is asking on the outlook of Varun Beverages going forward. Ajit, I'll come to you. How does the stock look on the charts?
So it's been a steady performer, since last several years. And but yes, of late we started seeing some profit taking at the higher levels. The stock has slipped below the short-term averages also. So that indicates a possibility of at least some consolidation after this recent surge. And it might retrace to this level of around 1350, 1300 before forming any base. So if the view is short term, definitely around that area one can look for fresh buying. If you have an existing position, you may reduce at the current levels and look to re-enter around 1300, 1350.
Reduce the current levels and then enter at 1300 is what Ajit is saying. But, on that note, we are, out of time for this show. And Mr. Chokalingam and Ajit, thank you so much for joining us today and, helping us solve the viewer queries. Yes. Well, that's a wrap on this edition of Ask Profit. But, when we'll be back on the same time on Monday, and you can send your queries for that below. But stay tuned to NDTV Profit. Lots more lined up on the other side.
Hello and welcome. This is Hot Money. I am Vakharia, and this show we take you through all that's been the flavor of the season.